So today I'm going to be making for you one of my favourite quick and easy midweek meals, surf and turf taco bowl. And everything we need to make that is here in front of you. So we are using steak, prawns. We're going to be making grilled charred corn on the cob. We have corn tacos, so they're completely gluten-free, and we're going to be turning them into our own nachos using our trusty air fryer. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And then we're going to be making some rice with kidney beans. Yes, I could make my own rice, but Tilda's here to give us back a bit of time in the evening. So we will be using Tilda rice again, quick and easy, doesn't take long at all. First thing I'll do, we've already boiled off the corn on the cob. So we'll come back to that in a moment because that's going to go into the air fryer with these corn tacos. So I love using these tacos. I use them a lot with my business for our evening menu. We have a taco menu, so we use them. They're really popular. And I do find the corn tacos, for me, a personal preference. Again, I found a lot of places where I went to in Mexico tend to use the corn tacos with the masa corn flour. Is so tasty. So I'm just going to rub them with a little bit of oil across both sides, and then I will cut these into convenient sized nacho size portions. There you go. So we're going to go quarters, and then we'll go, no, I think that's big enough. We'll go with quarters. Right, just going to layer these straight into the air fryer. We will turn them over halfway through cooking, but they're going to take about 12 minutes. And then during that same time, we will put in the corn on the cob. So this is, again, just being boiled off just a little bit to cook them through, and then we're just going to char them off now. Let's close that up, turn that on, air crisp. Like I said, 12 minutes. And if you keep an eye on the time for me, let me know when they're halfway through, and we will check them then. Okay, steak. Now, personal preference, I really like sirloin steaks. This is just a dry aged from a local supermarket. I'm going to cook it about 2.5 minutes each side. All I'm going to do with that is just rub that over with a little bit of oil each side and season it, not too liberally, with a bit of salt and cracked black pepper as I'm cooking that. Like I said, just a bit of oil on both sides. So it's been out of the fridge for about 20 minutes. Give it another 10 minutes, just get it up to room temperature so it just cooks at a nice even pace, and we'll leave that. And what we're gonna also do with that, we are gonna pair it with a lovely fresh tomato salsa. It's a pico de gallo, just a really simple red onion, tomato, lime juice, bit of salt and coriander, and then just a little bit of chili in there, just for a touch of heat. We're not gonna go too spicy. Surf element is these really nice king prawns. Again, they're just going to be lightly seasoned, bit of salt, pepper, smoked paprika, and some oregano and coriander. Let's get the pan ready for the steak, shall we? Oil's directly on the steak. We don't need any oil in the pan. I'm just going to get this to a nice temperature. We'll go for a relatively high heat, but not too high, because we don't want to burn that, but we do want to get a nice sear on the steak. So that's just about getting up to temperature now, and we should hear a lovely sizzle as we pop that in for the first. Beautiful. First couple of minutes, we're going to leave that for a couple of minutes whilst that cooks away. And I'm just going to marinate these prawns, because what we're going to do, we're going to cook the steak. Once the steak's cooked, we'll take it out, wipe down the pan, we'll literally give it 5 minutes or so to rest whilst everything else gets ready, and then during that time we will also cook the prawns in that same hot pan. So just a little bit of salt. In fact, we use this bowl here. Just a little bit of salt, touch of smoked paprika, that lovely smoky flavour, onion granules, and then this is a coriander and oregano mix. There you have it. So we're just going to let them just sit, season, whilst they're ready to be cooked. All right, so that steak is sizzling away nicely. Another minute or so, we'll check on the tacos and the corn. What we'll do is we'll start on our fresh salsa. We only need maybe half of the onion. We'll just skin off. And it's up to you how you kind of want to make this salsa. If you want it to be quite chunky, quite thick, it is traditionally a relatively chunky, kind of fresh, uncooked salsa. If you're having it on tacos, actually, it is generally nice to go slightly finer with the chopping. So it's more like a salsa. It's a slightly thinner consistency. So in with the onions. Nice fresh tomato would do. I quite like these plum tomatoes. They're actually local British tomatoes, so I always find the products are of a higher quality the fresher I can get them. It doesn't matter if you don't get a perfect kind of dice on them, because I just find you can just go over them again. Hopefully you can see that. Let me move that bowl out of the way for you. And I just like to give them a nice rough chop. So in there with those tomatoes, we're then going to have a little bit of this really fresh, what we call coriander. I know in certain parts of the world you like to call it cilantro. I'm sure it answers to either name, so whichever you prefer. I really like coriander. It's probably my favourite herb alongside oregano. So actually Mexican style cooking is perfect for me and what I like. We're just going to use about half of that lime in there, because the rest of that will actually go over the prawns when we finish off the cooking of the prawns. And then just a little touch of salt. So I am actually going to add just a little bit of chilli, about half of this fresh red chilli to that pico de gallo. Let's just give that a mix. So we're just dropping a little bit of that chilli in there. I'm going to set that aside for garnish. Let's go check on that steak now, because that is sizzling away. Oh, look at that, beautiful char on top. Literally just needs another minute or so, if that, on the other side, and then we'll set that aside to rest. Lovely. Right, so let's check on, we've gone a little over the halfway mark now. Let's see how we're doing with these. Okay, tacos are looking amazing, as is that corn. Right, so another 3 minutes or so on that, which is perfect. And then whilst that steak is finishing off, I am just going to do the rice. Drop in some onions, just give them very quick sizzle. These kidney beans, so these are just tinned kidney beans. You can buy the dry kidney beans that you need to soak overnight, but I find these are perfect. They're so easy, so convenient, so readily available. You choose how much you want in there. Straight in with the rice then. So Tilda to the rescue. Thank you once again. We have a little bit of smoked paprika, and then the oregano and coriander mix, touch of salt. And then whilst we're waiting for that now, the steak's resting, I'm just gonna lightly season the steak. We're then gonna go in with the prawns. Let's get these cooked. These do not need long at all. So these are raw king prawns. You can use the cooked ones that are already like a pinky colour, but I'm going in with raw because I just like them to cook. They take absolute seconds. As you can see as I'm turning them over, they are almost done. You don't want to overdo the prawns because they can get very tough if overdone. The rice is almost there. Just a little squeeze of lime juice in the rice and a touch of lime just to finish off the prawns. Okay, everything's done in here. That looks amazing. We'll come back to you in a moment. We'll slice up the avocado, and then all we're going to do, we just take off the end there, and we're just going to give this a nice thin slice. Pretty much ready to start assembling. Right, here's our bowl we are using. I'm going to start stacking this up now. That rice is done. I'm going to turn this rice off. Prawns are ready. Steak should be rested. So let's start with our nachos. Really crispy. I think you can probably hear the crisp on them. They turn out so well. The corn, we are just going to take that corn off. Beautifully charred. Smell amazing. One of those should be enough. And then just a tiny bit of onion powder, dash of the paprika, and this is the coriander oregano mix. Oriander should be a good word for it. Right, so that's ready. Let's try and get some of this rice in here. I'm not using my nice little turnout bowl technique, but I think that should be about a right amount of rice there. Layer up the avocado. That looks amazing. Nice bit there. Let's hope we have got it cooked just about right. Let's have a look. Oh, there you go. Still pink in the middle. Nicely rested. Just going to take the fat off of that. That looks amazing. Beautiful and tender. Let's bring the bowl over here actually. Let's not risk dropping any of that on the floor. I'm just going to sit this steak just on top of that rice. Got the prawns. So we got our turf, we got our surf. Oh, that looks amazing. The pico de gallo. Give that a good mix. That beautiful, fresh, aromatic and hugely tasty salsa. Generous amount on there. And then this charred corn, I'm literally just gonna sprinkle over the top. We will then just have a little bit of, this is just soured cream mixed with a little bit of lime juice. Just little drips across the top. Little garnish of coriander. And then we shall finish it off with a couple of lime quarters. There you have it. Surf and turf taco bowl. Now that is perfect as it is. However, I'm a little extra and I'm a little spicy, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of a Cholula hot sauce. It's a Chipotle Mexican hot sauce. It's not too hot, but it just adds a smokiness from that smoked jalapeno pepper. As much as I'm spicy, I'm also a little cheesy. So we're gonna go over with a little bit of cheese just on top. Not necessarily to melt it, just to add an extra depth of flavor. Right, now that is ready to eat.